Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Rafe Gal. This is Seiken Densetsu 3, also known as Trials of Mana. This is the sequel to Secret of Mana, the third game in the Mana series. It was never released in the US until very recently. Just got an English release on the Switch, and was announced to be getting a full 3D remake, which I'm very excited about. I want to play this in preparation for that. There are 6 characters, each one has their own story. We're going to get to play as 3 of them, but one of them is going to be the main character, and that determines the main story, which includes who the big bad is, the final dungeon, the final boss. It's all different based on which character you pick. This is the 6th video. We've done all the other ones, and we're going to finish it up with Carlie, also known as Charlotte in some versions. So, all of the other characters start their quest saying, we need to go to the holy city of Wendell. Carlie is from the holy city of Wendell. That's why I picked her last. Carlie is kind of odd as far as the characters in this game go. Or just in RPGs in general. I mean, there are times where there's a child character. But I don't know, it's never quite clicked for me. That being said, Carlie is the healer. She's the priest character. For the first half of the game, she's the only character who can heal, besides with items. You can just go through the game healing with items, it's doable. But she is... She's kind of obnoxious at times, being the, kid stereotype. But overall, she's, a good character. We find out the Priest of Light is her grandfather. He's gonna go investigate. We find out Carlie is a teenager, but she looks younger, because she has elven blood. So it's that whole idea that elves age slowly. Light? What if it's dangerous? Heath is in trouble. Gotta protect Heath. Nod nod. Grandpa. Be a good girl and stay in the temple today, alright? Why? Because I said so. Now go upstairs and read. Oh, but that's so boring. So yeah. Carlie's parents are gone. Her friend Heath is really important to her. Okay, we can't just force our way through. She was raised by the Priest of Light in the temple, but he's, old man. Let's see if we can find another way around, I'm assuming. I'm guessing since it booted us this way, this is going to make it easier. Let's see, that's where we went. So let's try up here. So yeah, Carlie is the healer. Her light classes are super healy. Like, that's what she does. She's not super physically strong. And she does get some offensive magic as well. It's not just healing. She mostly gets light-based magic. She starts out pretty early. The big thing she gets throughout the game is stuff that lets her like multi-target heals and stuff like that. This looks like a way out. Am I wrong? Apparently I'm wrong. I'm guessing there's a similar thing on the other side or one of these little passages. Nope. Must be on this side, maybe? Aha. Heath has the strongest will. Your father, Master Leroy, defied the priest and fell in love with the elven girl Shyla. They married and later you were born. Since your mother is an elf, that makes you a half-elf. Thanks for telling me things I already know. Okay, well, it looks like we get to do the walk around talking to everybody thing. Heath already left for Astoria. Let's stay upstairs. Maybe we'll get something if we actually listen. So yeah. However, Carlie's dark classes are actually really interesting. I really... one of her dark classes lets her do a really powerful debuff, which affects all stats at once, which is really cool. And her dark classes also get summons, which are really cool. I'm a big fan of I've mentioned debuffs on a couple characters. Carlie is one of the best options for debuffs because she has a single cast that can take every single stat down for a boss. Most of the time, there's only one person to target, so while Hawk and Lice can do multiple targets at once, Carlie's dark class is easily, basically makes the rest of the game a joke. Her summons can be really powerful. They do status effects and damage. Like I said, her light classes, she can do magic, or she can be a caster that way, as well as just getting multi-target healing. So Banakujaku, let's jump really high. And get to Astoria without letting any of the grown-ups see you. Now hurry. So we get the equivalent of canon travel here, where she just gets flung across the map. We actually skip Jad. No use. Wait, no. Maybe that's where they take her. This is the Anna story. Okay, nice. He needs a spanking right now. Somewhere I need to go. Please stay here where it's safe until morning. Okay, so we see Lies wander off. Generally speaking, Carlie is really interesting because of the way that the order switches around. So we don't, like I said, we don't have to go to Jad. She actually gets straight to Astoria, which is the second town for everybody else. I think. Well, let's wander around town because we haven't gotten our opening scroll yet. So, for everybody else, this is the second place they go, after you get out of that town with the beastmen. Which they just referenced right there. Carlie's really interesting because you tend to, if you pick her as your third character, you actually get her early. So you'll have 3 characters for the first boss instead of just 2. Keith was here. He said he was going to the Rabbi Forest, but don't go there. It's dangerous. Of course, we're gonna go. So yeah, Carlie is more physically capable than Angela, which not that that's saying much. She's, like I said, she has the only intro that doesn't run the standard way. Beastman from the Beast Kingdom, why are you here? It's a priest from Wendell, we can't let him leave. He'll get in the way of our invasion. What? You'll never. Heath! Blasts all of the beastmen. Why'd you come to a place like this? Heath, Carlie, shh, someone's coming. Okay. So we see Heath get blasted by the Death Jester. About the weakest holy ball spell I've ever seen. This has potential. I think I've stumbled upon something here. See Death Jester using his dark magic on Heath again. That's kind of what he does. So now Carlie is freaking out, understandably. So as I started saying a couple times, Carlie has the only intro that doesn't go through Jad right away like that. Kind of a weird intro because you go to Astoria before everybody else, and you meet one of your other characters briefly beforehand. If you pick her as your third character, you actually meet her before you clear the meet her before you get to the boss, so you actually get 3 characters early. You actually can run into a similar scenario if you have Hawk as your third character, because you can get him, I believe, you can get him early as well, but his is not as early as Carlie. So yeah, there's some interesting aspects to it. Carlie's a good character all around. Her whole thing is figuring out a little bit more about her history, and then also about getting Heath back, figuring out what happened to Heath. Again, this one has kind of the most clear-cut bad guys, because Death Jester's pretty straightforward. So we end up back in Astoria. So yeah, like I said, we basically just skipped Jad. This is where the other characters would end up. And that's Carlie's intro. Well, we'd be from this point we get our second character, go to the waterfall cave, and continue on with the game. So hopefully you're still enjoying. This is the 6th video of the character intros. It's the last one. Seiken Densetsu 3 is a great game. Like, the sprite work in this game is phenomenal for the era. This is a very late Super Nintendo game. From what I've heard, part of the reason it didn't get ported over to the US is because it would have taken so long to translate that it would have been after this. The localization team was always kind of slow at that point, and it would have been after the N64 release. That's one of the things I had heard. I'm not sure if that is the case. I'm planning on doing a little more research before I do the full video, so I can have something to talk about while I grind and such. And I fully intend to do so. So yeah. Great art. You've already heard a bunch of good music. This is the peak of Square Enix to me, as this came out around the same time as FF6, as Chrono Trigger. This era of Squaresoft is some of my favorite games of all time. The story in this is great. It's one of the most unique games I can think of, having 3 separate kind of end games and 6 different overall storylines that have slight variations. No matter which characters you take, as you run into the pieces of their backstory along the way, because you do interact with all 6 backstories to an extent. You visit all the kingdoms. We're still going to get to see dialogue regardless of which characters get picked. And we're going to get special dialogue if we have the right characters with us for certain parts. Lies and Hawk both have interactions with Bill and Ben when we run into them later. Carlie is going to have special interactions with Death Jester, and when we go back to Wendell, Lies has stuff when each of them has stuff in their home kingdoms. Stuff with Corrin, the Red Mage, Duran and Angela, obviously. Stuff with the Beast King and Death Jester, Carlie and Evan. So yeah, there's going to be a bunch of cool dialogue regardless. The way I'm going to do this, there's going to be a link in the description for you to vote. The top character is going to go in the party. It's going to be the leader. That's going to determine the main storyline. The second place, I'm gonna skip. Most likely. Because if I do a second run ever, I want to do the other, or a character that'll give, as long as it's different end game. Like if it's Carlie and Kevin, then I wouldn't skip it because they have the same final boss. But I want to be, if basically the next ranking one that has a separate ending, if I ever do another playthrough, that's going to be drawn from that. And from there, probably mostly follow the guidance of the poll to an extent, and part of it's going to just be me coming up with a party that I feel comfortable with as well, and trying to give you guys the best experience with what kind of character interactions we get, both mechanically and story-wise. So yeah, hopefully you're still enjoying. Give me a like and subscribe. Check out the other content on my channel. I'm gonna leave this poll open for a little while. I'm thinking at this point we'll leave some time in between. I'll intentionally play another game, but it's basically just gonna be until I'm ready to start, and I feel like I've gotten enough votes. Link for the polls in the description. Leave any questions or suggestions in the comments. And as always, have a good one. This has been the character intros for Trials of Mana. We'll start up next time with our official party and the start of the real game.